how Mens Wearhouse and Bold Metrics are leveraging AI and body data to approach virtual fit in a whole new way. Quite interested to see what Morgan and Daniel come up with in this session. And as always, I ask you to put your questions in the chat box. I'm going to ask them to them after the presentation, but let's hand over to Morgan Linton. He's the CEO and co-founder of Bold Metrics, and Daniel Carpenter, who's the Senior Director of Digital Product Management over at Tailored Brands. Over to you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the introduction. Excited to be here. You'll find this is really meant to be more like a conversation. So we've got some slides, but Daniel and I are just going to talk almost like a fireside chat. I'm Morgan, co-founder and CEO of Bold Metrics. And yeah, really excited to talk to you about how we've been leveraging AI with Mens Wearhouse. And I'll let Daniel take it away.
Yeah, hi everybody. Dan Carpenter here. Just been a pleasure working with Morgan and Bold Metrics for 7 years now, continuing to innovate on fit technology experiences for our customers in the fashion and apparel space. And I'm just really looking forward to taking all of you through a few examples of how we've been working together over that time.
Awesome. So we'll dive in here. Like Daniel said, yeah, we've been working together for 7 years. We've done some really cool stuff. I'm excited. You know, the thing that has always impressed me about Mens Wearhouse and Tailored Brands as a company is just their, interest in innovation, in leveraging AI, and then really providing the best experience for their customers. There's been a ton of articles talking about the work that we've done together, and we're just going to walk you through like how we work together, how we've solved problems online, how we've solved problems in store, and the ways that we're using AI and technology to do it. So I'll let Daniel talk a little bit about, just kind of the Mens Wearhouse ethos around fit and customers.
Yeah, so, at Mens Wearhouse, our goal is to offer timeless and contemporary styles, great service for the moments that matter. And really, in order to deliver on that promise, fit is king. And so having a deeply integrated and world-class fit technology solution is just absolutely paramount for our success. So not only do we utilize fit technology online to reach new customer segments, we also introduce fit technology into our in-store experience as well, really just to help drive and streamline our in-store fitting process. And we also leverage that as a means to just collect more first-party body data too, so that we can make future improvements across the board and across our channels. First example we'll take you through pertains to our rental business. We've served over 1 million weddings over the last 15 years now, and it really serves as a critical entry point for our new customers shopping with us for their prom dates. We're also just note, getting the style and fit right is critical for our couples getting married and who want to look great for their photos. And so integrating a fit technology solution just requires us or allows us to offer a seamless end-to-end rental experience.
And I'll talk a little bit more about how we're doing this. So Mens Wearhouse has been leveraging our virtual sizer technology to do this. And so there's really 2 steps to this process. We have an AI technology that's able to create AI body models. So somebody's answering some really simple questions, and you can see the example here in the iPhone screen. So somebody goes to the Mens Wearhouse website, they want to rent a tuxedo or a suit, and they're able to just answer really simple questions, things they know off the top of their head, nothing that requires a measuring tape. And on the back end, we're actually predicting over 50 body measurements, creating this AI body model of that person, and then figuring out, okay, what size coat, pants, vest, and shirt should they be wearing? And that's one of the complexities with suit and tuxedo sizing is it's not just, well, you're going to buy this one size. It's an entire outfit that has to go cohesively together. And then you have, challenges with rigidity of fabrics, like, a tuxedo coat tends to have a lot of rigidity in the shoulder area. If it's too tight in the chest, that's a big problem. But it's really dialing in all of those garments and thinking about layering, because if I have a coat and a shirt and a vest, and those are all layered, it's important to understand that and the impact that has on fit. And so we're able to do, multi-garment size recommendation. And then something that we're really proud of that we've done with Mens Wearhouse over the years is taking in the purchase and returns data so that we can understand, well, how are customers actually wearing the clothes? And is there a change in fit preference over time? And this is something I think we've seen kind of universally over the last 20 years of going from a more loose and baggy fit around suits and tuxedos and going to a more trim and form-fitted suit and tuxedo. And some of that can even vary geographically. And so we're taking in a lot of this data. And then because Mens Wearhouse has so much synergy with their customers and they want that experience to be cohesive, this is all API driven. So when you go on to the Mens Wearhouse site and you're going through this experience, you're not creating a login with us or going through a pop-up where there's some third party involved. It's all cohesive. So they're going through this all in one experience. And so, yeah, just speaking to this, I'll kind of start and then let Daniel rock from there. But, essentially when you are renting a suit or tuxedo from Mens Wearhouse, you're presented with these two solutions here. You can go in store and get measured by a tailor. Mens Wearhouse has stores all over the country, and that's definitely an option that's great for people who live near a store. Other people that want to get fitted online, they click the Get Started button. Like I said, because this is all API driven, it completely is, just part and parcel with the Mens Wearhouse site. So when you're looking at the customer journey, it's not disjointed in any way.
Yeah, and so for us, it was definitely key to have a fully integrated white label solution here, which Bold Metrics was able to offer us, and just to have a cohesive brand experience, and also really just to not shy away from offering the store option for those who seek to have that, but also leverage fit technology to reach those customers who are not nearby our stores and do not have that option at all, as well as the customers who they just aren't keen to visit a store. They want quick and easy. Having a world-class solution that's able to accurately fit you quickly just from the comfort of your home was really a game changer and allowed us to also sit very competitively in the online rental space.
And so, we have a ton of data here because we've been working together for so long. And so just to kind of go through this quickly here, overall, we've seen a 27.4% average return rate reduction for online tuxedo orders. This is the combined orders. We also track this on an individual basis. And so by component, it's even higher, 48.9% decrease on coats, 44.3 on pants, 49.1 on shirts. And the other piece, and this is something that Daniel and I lived through together, is, being able to do this virtually and solving for the inaccuracy of self-measurements. Because initially, the thought was, okay, well, maybe we'll give customers three options. What if they can go in store? What if they can use Bold Metrics? And what if they can measure themselves? And we put together a lot of data, and maybe I'll let Daniel speak a little bit to this, but it was a pretty interesting experience.
Yeah, it was very interesting. We definitely went into the launch of our end-to-end online rental experience with an open mind. Just as we wanted to give the customer as many options as possible to get measured. Fit Tech being one, and as Morgan mentioned, also we put a lot of time and effort into creating a series of very nice videos that walk you through taking the 8 different body measurements needed for us to get you a good fitting rental suit. And we came out the gate with the 3 options. And one of the key learnings very early on was that customers are just not comfortable measuring themselves. They don't know how. You're off by a few inches, and that can ruin the entire fit. So having far and away, fit technology performed way better than sticking the customer with a tape measure and hoping for the best.
Awesome. So we'll move over now. So we just covered rental, and now let's talk about ready to wear. And Dan, I don't know if you want to share anything about kind of your thoughts on how you look at rental versus ready to wear. Anything else you want to say about that?
Yeah, this is one of our competitive advantages at Mens Wearhouse. We offer rental, retail, and also custom suiting options as well. And so, we, from a fit tech standpoint, we started on the rental division, and we've quickly been moving, after seeing success there, moving to more deeply integrate that across the rest of our business segments as well. So more recently, we did a lot of testing on introducing fit tech for our ready-to-wear business and our online e-commerce store to just help customers get fitted easily and quickly and find out their size without having to visit a store.
And so for this, Mens Wearhouse is using the smart size chart. And so this is our solution that's really, really easy to integrate into any e-com experience, because you're just copying and pasting a snippet of code, and we're really doing all the heavy lifting there. And so it also provides a virtual try-on experience where a customer is able to see their recommended size, but then also do what they would do in store, which is, if you go into a store and you're not quite sure about your size, a salesperson might say, okay, I think you're a 38 regular. You may say, okay, I kind of vary. Can I also bring a 36 regular with me into the dressing room? And then you try both of those on and compare. We allow Mens Wearhouse shoppers to do the exact same thing online. And then a really neat thing that we layered in last year with Mens Wearhouse is our brand new smart inventory feature. And this is something I think is just critically important, especially as, brands all over the world are dealing with supply chain issues, which is, well, what do you do if, one of the recommended sizes is out of stock? And so what we're able to do is take that data in and not just make a recommendation, but also say, hey, if the size you want is out of stock, here's your next best size. And so we're able to go beyond just recommending a size. And as you can see on this image here, we can show, okay, well, how does it fit in the chest? How does it fit in the waist? How does it fit in the arms? Because there's really two sides to fit, right? One is, what does AI and algorithms tell us based on tons and tons of data that somebody would like? And the other is very personal, which is like, well, maybe I like to wear things looser, or maybe I like to wear things tighter. And kind of an example I always give is I have a good friend of mine from high school. Some of us teased us and said we're like clones because we look very, very similar. But we wear different sizes. And he always says, Morgan, the stuff you're wearing, it looks too tight. And I'm like, no, this fits. This is great. And then I look at what he's wearing and I say, that looks too loose and baggy. And the thing is, we're both right. It's just different for each of us. And so, for me, when I look at a sports coat, for example, I actually don't even like it just right in the chest. I like it slightly snug. And so to be able to do that, normally I would have to go in store. With a smart size chart, the customer's able to look at this and go, okay, oh yeah, you know what? I do want it snug in the chest. Or maybe someone usually wears a sweater under their sports coat, and that's the way that they like to wear it, in which case maybe they need it slightly loose in the chest. And so, the idea of recommending a size has two sides to it. One is using all the data and AI and all that great technology. And the other is letting the customer do what they would normally do, try something on and pick something that fits them the way they like it to fit. And so we'll show you a sped up demo to make life easier for all of you on how this works. I will click this here. Oops, I think I have to do it like this. So you can see somebody just clicks find my size on the site, goes through, answers questions, clicks get recommendation, and they can see exactly how it fits, pick a size, add to cart, check out. And so, the goal here is to be able to provide, that very similar experience to what they would go through when they're in store, where they do want to try on different sizes, but do it virtually and then understand how it fits. And maybe it's not the exact recommended size. Maybe it recommended a size, like in my example, that's just right in the chest, but I go, I want it slightly snug in the chest. And I go down a size, I go, oh, that's it, cool. And so then when it arrives and I get it and it's slightly snug in the chest, I go, yeah, that's what I wanted. And so it's meeting that customer expectation. And Dan, I don't know if there's anything else you want to share on here as well.
No, that was well said.
Cool. Okay. And so we've seen really, really great results here as well. So we've seen a return rate reduction in users that engage with the tool of 35%. Users that actually go through, like the percent of purchases made from users going through the smart size chart is 12%. And the adoption rate is massive, 81%. So 81% of people that actually engage with the smart size chart go through and complete the entire experience. All right. Now for in-store, Daniel, maybe you can kind of tee this one up.
Yeah, sure. So this is the third and final example to walk you guys through today, and this was just a really interesting experience across the board from start to finish. And what we looked to do was, again, riding on the success we saw in our rental business, see how can we leverage fit technology directly in the in-store experience too, just to streamline the experience for customers. Use it as sort of a guide or training guide too for store associates, and a validation tool for measurements they're taking themselves. But this was really also an attempt for us to just meet the changing needs of the customer experience, and wanting more self-service, wanting more touch-free experiences, social distance experiences. And this, what we also did for this was we tested out a couple different fit technology solutions. One, our tried and true Bold Metrics integration, as well as see how customers would respond to camera-based solutions as well.
Cool. So just to kind of go into this, contactless fit, like everything we do, powered by AI, but also seamless. So, what you see here is a Mens Wearhouse experience. So, the sales associates have it on their iPad app. They're able to easily talk to a customer, get answers to some really simple questions, and give them recommendations right away. And so this means, there's times where stores can be busy and you may have to wait for a fitting room. This completely eliminates that. Also doesn't require measuring tapes or photos, kind of like Daniel was saying. One complexity with photo-based is somebody coming into a store, and if they're wearing a shirt like this, it's not really going to necessarily get their neck just right. Like, you have to be wearing more tight-fitted clothing. This is seamless. So somebody can just answer these questions and instantly get recommendations. And that's the idea, is like, how do we make it easy? And it's really a two-sided problem, right? How do we make it easy for the customer? But also, how do we make it easy for the sales associate so it's a tool that they can use and feel empowered to use with their customers? And the results, like Daniel said, we've had such a great experience. We're in over 650 stores nationwide, over 100,000 customers measured using contactless fit. And if you look at the fidelity of the measurements, and this is over a huge amount of data, we have very, very high fidelity. So within 0.24% average when compared to in-store measurements, and we're really, really proud of those results.
Yeah, and just to reiterate too, just an interesting learning that the camera-based solution just wasn't right for us for a number of reasons, and namely it seemed to be more cumbersome to use. There's also learnings, from our store associates that it's hard to get the angle just right. The lighting has to be right. It depends on what the customer is wearing at the time. If they have loose fitting clothing, it didn't quite work. So you ended up kind of needing to be a professional photographer in order for accurate results on that side. So for us, the Bold Metrics solution, simple, answering a few questions and getting a result right away, was far and away the winner for us. So we were really, really happy to roll that out nationwide for our customers and store associates.
Yeah, we're super proud of this, and it's really, kind of like I was saying before, how do you just make it as easy as possible, right? It has to be easy or seamless. for people to use it. But then the counterbalance is it has to be accurate. And so marrying those two together means, a lot under the hood and a lot of AI horsepower that we're really proud of, and really proud of our team that's put all that together. So we wanted to keep it short and sweet so that we have time for any questions that people have. And Dave was just right on cue with that. It's fantastic.
Well, we do. And so I wanted to make sure that we had enough time to fit all of them in, because there's a lot of questions around this. And I think it's a really, really interesting specific area for virtual fit and the use of AI to enable that as well. Because not only are you doing this online, but you're doing it in store as well. And so look, we've got a load of questions. So let's get stuck in. First of all, were there any surprises that you found after getting the body data? Was there anything that you thought, oh, okay, that wasn't what we expected, but that's an interesting insight from the data that you collected, body data specifically?
I guess I'll start. Morgan, please feel free to add anything. But actually, Morgan kind of touched on this a little bit, but one of the surprising things really is just around fit preference. Mm-hmm. So, prior to incorporating fit technology, we would give what's called a heuristic model to our store associates, which is basically, if they're this height and they're this weight, this is the size to kind of put them in. But with incorporating fit technology and being able to get more precise to certain regions or stock or specific styles that the customer is selecting, it enabled us to account for the fit preference input, which just dramatically changes from one customer to the next, even though they may have the exact same body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is why it's such an interesting area, because I've done this kind of suit tux fitting before. And I don't know, do you do this for women as well? Like, do you have like female tuxes for women? Just as a matter of interest, it was a question that was asked earlier on, Dan.
We do, yeah. And it is an area that we're looking to expand and lean further into.
Yeah,
we have a lot of female customers currently too that we fit.
The experience, and this is a bit anecdotal from my own experience, but I know that other people share this, is that it can be quite an awkward thing when you go in and you're kind of talking to the sales rep and you're talking about what you think your size is, what they think your size is, and what you feel comfortable in, and also what feels or you think looks good. Some of these things aren't always working in tune with one another. So Dan, from your experience, do you feel like working with Bold Metrics has helped you get better in that area in terms of providing value for the end consumer at the end of the day?
Yeah, I mean, the Bold Metrics solution for us, and this is kind of like a continuous counterintuitive, I'd say, surprise as like throughout the journey as we look to expand into different product categories and test it against other fit tech solutions. But there's really been one of the key values of the Bold Metrics solution is in its simplicity and in its way that it kind of levels the playing field as far as what the inputs are. Mm-hmm. And a lot of other solutions will have too many variables going on, and the more variables you have doesn't necessarily equate to a more perfect fit, because of all the differences in perspective on what your fit is versus what someone else thinks it might be, or what your size is in a different brand. So that's been another interesting learning for us along the way.
Okay, interesting. Another question from the audience is, do you think customers would like to try on a virtual avatar to see the fit? Is this something in the works?
Definitely something that is part of the future of retail, and something we want to build towards in the digital experiences that we offer. Metaverse is the big buzzword right now. We've made major strides on our custom suiting business in particular to be ahead of the curve there, and having all of our products digitized with 3D models. So it's a natural progression in the coming years to merge that with a fit technology solution and provide some really cutting edge experiences for our customers.
I think this is an interesting topic, Morgan. So yeah, I was just going to bring you in on this because obviously you were part of the conversation earlier on. Yeah. And when you think about the metaverse, you don't necessarily think of people in suits, but hey, why the hell not?
Sure. Oh, I think people will wear all clothing that exists, from suits to hoodies to shorts to anything, really. But I think it's really about, that experience and how you do it right. And, the really huge benefit that Mens Wearhouse now has that gives them a pretty big edge going into the metaverse is, every one of their customers that has gone through Bold Metrics, we have their body data. We can export that in 3D. And so they actually can look at all of that data and use it to understand the customers from a fit and sizing perspective, from what would the average avatar be? What should they be wearing? And so, that data is so incredibly valuable. And that's why, our tagline at Bold Metrics is unlock the power of body data. And so for us, it's all about unlocking that and being able to use that to provide more rich and customer-centric experiences. And there's some really cool stuff. I can't talk too much about it now, but that we're going to be doing in the metaverse. And I can tell you that Dan and the team at Mens Wearhouse was some of the first that we're going to be including in that.
One of the gaps for us is getting more Bored Ape body measurements.
I've given him all of mine. He just needs more.
We need plenty more of those. One of the questions was about regional body data as well. So I imagine Tailored Brands is not just a North American business as well. So you're probably looking at body data from across the world. Is that incorporated into your thinking for strategy as well? I think the question was this: do you have to change the algorithms depending on the region of the world that they're used in, that you get the body data from? Sorry.
Do you want to take that, Morgan?
Yep. Yeah. So for us, yes. So we work with brands that are global, and yes, absolutely. Like that question is saying, we do have to take that into account. And with Mens Wearhouse, we're actually able to get very specific because we know things like zip code. And so, regional differences exist, not just globally, but within the United States. So somebody that lives in Manhattan might have a different fit preference than someone that lives in Missoula, Montana. And there's no right or wrong. It's just a different fit preference based where you are. And that, varies state to state, city to city in the United States. And of course, country to country around the world.
How do you manage data when people get something wrong? So let's say I've told you what my fit preference is, I've got it, and I've realized that I completely messed it up and that was completely incorrect. Are you able to actually sort of state that data and say that the original call was incorrect in the end?
Yeah, that's the core of what we do at Bold Metrics. So for us, we look at a huge amount of data, and the most informative data is when it's wrong or when somebody returns. And then the question is, was it wrong, or was that different for them? And so that's why we have to look at statistical significance. And so it might be that people with a certain body shape and size typically do buy a 38 regular, and then there's this one person that decided. And it's really interesting actually when you look at these sizing curves, and you can have someone the exact same body shape and size really buy between like a 36 and a 42. Same body, right? And so then what we have to look at is this a trend where, oh, wow, everybody with this body shape and size looks like they're buying in a 38 and returning and buying a 40. And then if it is statistically significant, that trains our models and we put out a model update. And that's one of the ways that we're able to help Mens Wearhouse actually stay connected with their customers and how their own fit preference and style preference changes over time. And especially looking at, coming out of the pandemic and, brands like Mens Wearhouse adopting a ton of new customers, a lot of those customers coming in online as well, they are going to have different fit preferences. They're going to have different ways they like their clothes to fit. And we're able to actually take in that data and use it to update our models. So we're constantly staying relevant.
Yeah, the data feedback loop for us is such a key part of our fit technology goals. Consumer preferences are changing. Our customer base could be evolving as well. So having constant model updates that use the latest and greatest set of data for fits that were right, and equally as important, if not more important, for the fits that were wrong. So we can incorporate both into ongoing model updates on a quarterly, annual basis at the least.
Yeah, for sure. Look, the world is always changing, and so you need to have that constant feedback loop as well. And it's okay. It's the last session of the day, and we've got questions to go through, so there's no reason to cut us off short. So let's get through them. How do you handle pants waist, wearing pants at an angle at the waist versus a horizontal waist? This is a question from the audience. Dan or Morgan? Yeah, go on.
Yeah. I mean, I could let Dan start that, and I can share from our perspective too. Yeah,
crack on. Yeah.
So if I heard the question right, just like the preference on where someone prefers to wear their pants on their hip or on their waist.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So that's kind of one of the one of the inputs on the Bold Metric fit quiz is their jean waist and jean length. We don't incorporate like specifically where they prefer it to land on their hip, but at the same time, we haven't seen a huge delta on preference when it comes to formal wear. So it might play a bigger role in the jean fit moment than the slack moment. But it's definitely one of those areas where it's trial and error, test and learn. Every customer base is different across brands. So I think it just comes back to the feedback loop, and also just making sure that if that's not giving you the full story or getting you to where you want your exchange rate to be, then look for some additional survey data from your customer base to just fine tune what are the right inputs for getting them an accurate fit.
It's an interesting. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, this is really where AI shines, right? Is that, if there's a certain style of pants that people tend to wear lower or higher than a different style, looking at, slacks specifically, like our models will pick that up. And so it will adapt, without the consumer having to even say it. Because, when a lot of people return something, they'll just say, too big or too small or nothing at all. But we have the body data, we have the garment data, and we know what people of different body shapes and sizes are keeping and what they're returning. And so we're able to use that to continue to inform. So if there is a certain pair of slacks or people like to wear it higher or lower than another pair, that'll come out in the data, the models will update, and those predictions will come out.
Guys, thanks so much. Honestly, really, really insightful session, and loads of questions come in as well. So it's always a good sign. And thanks for sharing all of that interesting information as well. Really, really appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Yeah, it's been a blast.
Thanks for having us. Thank you, everybody.